Hi, I'm Arianne, and I'm here in the John Richards showroom with two of my amazing guests. I'm here with design powerhouse, world traveler, designer extraordinaire, Lisa Mende. She's a North Carolina-based interior designer. And I'm here with Mark McDowell, who is an artist, a product designer, and is responsible for many of the amazing things that we're seeing here in the showroom. So we're going to chat today about what influences them, how they're inspired, and what they see happening in the future for design.
My design style is casual luxe. I grew up in the South. I'm a Southern girl.
Me too.
Lived my entire life in North Carolina. And so my design tends to be rooted in tradition, but then I like to add some luxe details, a little glam, borrow some things from nature. And art inspires me. So a lot of times when I'm designing a house or a room, I will start with the art and work from there.
Okay.
I think you have to have one element that is kind of your piece de resistance that you use, and then you work from there.
That's good.
So, and I'm really inspired by this man.
Yeah, which is a great segue because he's an artist and
oh yeah, and his work is so thoughtful, all the details, and he just brings so many interesting elements to his design. And just walking into the John Richards showroom today and seeing the different elements that are combined, it's just, you're just amazing, Mark.
Hey, thank you. It's interesting that you're talking about the casual elegance, which to me right now, trend-wise, is really what's happening.
It really is.
And to me, it's really exciting because my own personal style is exactly that. I like more neutral, clean elements, but to try to do it with a little bit more luxe, mixing materials, textures. So right now, relative to design in the marketplace, I think it's really exciting because you see a lot of cleaner, more thoughtfully design, with textures, woods, painted finishes, mirror crystal, almost anything's available now, right? There's a great mix going on where you can mix and match and make things very exciting. So.
And I see in the market, especially this market, I have seen that I think designers, product designers are creating furniture that is furniture that you find in luxury hotels, like boutique hotels.
Yes.
And I think we're bringing those into our home. And I think we've figured out that by doing that, we can have furniture that is luxe, beautiful, but it also wears well. Because when you have
livable.
You have a stone on a tabletop, you can sit a glass on it instead of a wood top. And so I think that's kind of an interesting concept that's happening in the market, and I think you picked up on it early on.
Thank you. I totally agree. The whole in the past, casual was truly casual, but right now there is this casual luxe.
It is.
Where it's very livable, great for day to day, not too formal, but it still can be very, very elegant.
Right.
And that mix with some of the driftwood finishes or woven materials with a little sparkle could pick up that luxe. I love it.
It does. And I think when you use the more neutral palettes, texture's so important.
Oh, for sure.
And hardware, beautiful hardware, like jewelry, like hardware. I'm seeing everywhere. And I think you design special hardware for certain pieces in the showroom.
Well, and a lot of that might be because people, a couple of the designers that we talked to earlier today, they always have the same thread of, your home should be your haven, and people want their home to be the place that they want to be more than anywhere else. And so we're bringing that into our home with those influences, and so it has to be comfortable and it has to be livable because we want it to be nice, but we also want to spend time in those rooms. When I grew up, my grandmother had a room that nobody walked into. It was like shrink wrapped. There was a runner. You just kind of walk through it, and people aren't living that way anymore. They really want to live in their spaces. So
every room is part of the home now.
Every room. There's no off limits room of the home anymore. So I guess the next question would be, knowing your style, I remember last year, I think it was, we got to have lunch together,
We
and
did.
you guys really hit it off because you both very strongly influenced by nature.
Right.
And so y'all had a great conversation that I got to just kind of listen to, be a fly on the wall. But talk about how nature inspires you in your work, and why it's so important to your design aesthetic.
Oh, that could be an all-day. How much time do we
We have all day. 3
Well,
minutes.
you know, nature is where everything starts.
Mm-hmm.
And if you mimic nature or take your cues from nature, you can never go wrong. And anytime you feel stifled or stressed, you can walk out in nature and instantly you feel calm and peace. And so why not recreate that in your home? You know, we are cocooning now. So many people work from home.
Yeah.
So if we create a home space that feels like nature, when you walk in the door, you feel a sense of peace and calm.
That's true.
Yeah,
So
I
that's-
agree. And for me personally, in our own personal home, I like bringing in pieces, you know, whether it's minerals or geodes or, you know, some type of organic, you know, as accent pieces within the room. You know, I'm a rock hound at heart.
Yeah,
So I love bringing in actual forms, whether it's beautiful shells or, you know, some driftwood. You know.
It just feels right.
Yeah.
It gives you a sense of place.
Yeah.
And the elements mixed, the shells, the twigs. I was saying earlier that I always want to go outside and get these beautiful twigs and bring them in. But to go out and find those twigs is not easy,
No,
Right,
it's
you know?
not.
Right,
It-
right.
It isn't.
So
Right.
you're out there scrounging around trying to find that beautiful limb for, you know, styling in a photo shoot or something.
Right.
Or just in my own home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I live for fresh flowers. You know, I think if they said you have to choose between food or fresh flowers, I would say, okay, I'm starving.
Because you need
I want the flowers,
Right,
you know?
right.
So,
Wow. Well, and to your point about how we intuitively and innately need nature in our home and around us, but sometimes we don't have the time or the resources or the knowledge on how to bring it in. You do that beautifully with your products, because we look at your lighting collection and how you bring the agates and the different geodes and the pieces, you know, incorporate that into an element that we all need, which is lighting. You know, your case good pieces, the finishes that we've chosen, the woods that we've talked about, you kind of help bridge the gap for the designer and, in the end, their client, to bring nature in a way that makes sense to them, but that they never could have probably figured out on their own.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Hopefully, you know, as far as designing product, you know, trying to do a range where people can, you know, for designers, you know, be able to find different pieces and pull things together to get those different textures, whether it's, you know, combining the ceramic with a natural stone or crystal with brass, and, you know, because I think, you know, it truly makes a room interesting when it has that eclectic quality, which is another thing that's
It
going on
does.
now. You know, before furniture used to be, you know, grouped and used to be more matching.
Yeah.
Now it has, you know, a wonderful eclectic quality where it looks like somebody has gone and found pieces in several different locations. So even on the new collections I'm doing, I'm trying to start from that point,
Right.
where there's complementary pieces that could go together, but are definitely come from different inspirations and different beginnings, but they still are very complementary.
and they help to tell a larger story. I think a lot of your work does that. I've kind of noticed your work always has, it always kind of pushes the envelope. It's either very colorful, or there's a statement lighting piece, or there's artwork, or there's bold, you know, wallpaper. But you kind of take that and help use that as the foundation to tell a really powerful story in your spaces. And so I think the collaboration of you having this as a resource
Well,
for your products is great.
Exactly. I'm always looking for those statement pieces, and that's why I like Mark's work so much. He has a new chandelier that is solid alabaster. They're showing this market that has blown me away.
Yes.
And you tell us about that, because I'd like to know more about that chandelier.
The initial inspiration actually is Brancusi, which was a modern sculptor, and I've always appreciated his work. He was way ahead of his time, and he always used geometric forms in a very pared down, very minimalistic way. And every time I see his pieces, I don't know. There's something so basic about it. They just hit something
Yes,
inside.
with
that
me
there's,
as well.
There's something that's just so right about them. So he's always been one of my favorite sculptors. And I had done some lamps last market with the alabaster, which I think has just a wonderful quality. That when you use a thicker alabaster, it has a slight organic quality. It's not too much this and not too much that, and it has a really nice softness about it also, visually. And then to do a chandelier, which I had been thinking about for a while, and then how to use that more sculptural type quality in the chandelier I wanted to do, and then it took a little bit to figure it out. To get that form, because I still want to keep that clean,
Yeah.
basic, not too complicated, kind of a statement graphic. You just see it and it's like,
Yeah.
it feels right. So that's what I was going for.
And I love the way it marries the old with the new, because we
Yes.
think of alabasters being so traditional,
Correct.
but yet your shape, the design
Yes.
of it is so
fresh.
current and fresh. It's just a beautiful marriage between old and
Thanks,
new.
thanks.
Well
And
done.
it's interesting you say that, because I think part of what's going on in the marketplace right now too is this freshness.
Right.
There's like a lighter, fresher, cleaner
Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
type of quality that's going on within the marketplace. This fabric's a perfect example of the artwork.
Right.
It's a little airier.
It is.
It's like taking in a
It
nice.
truly is.
Yeah.
Deep
So,
breath.
and then that's always nice in the home too, because you go in there and it's, when you walk into the space and it has that lighter, airier, fresher feel, it makes you feel good too. So, a lot of the accessories and lighting, artwork, and the things that are going in the marketplace right now
Artwork, yeah.
makes it easier to try to create that type of environment, which I'll also at our home try to do the same thing. Doing design business, I'm sure could be likewise for you. For me, my home has to be kind of zen-like
Right.
and serene, because you get visually stimulated so much that you just really need a really good, solid, neutral palette at home, because
Well,
you're
that's true.
constantly doing
That's
visual
true.
things, and at home you just really need to have a place
Yeah.
where things can just stay a little more calm.
Right.
Well, I love color, but I have white walls.
Yeah, see? Exactly, right? Yeah.
I have white walls and
Yeah.
I have black trim, and
Yeah.
and then what I always like to do is be able to change the envelope, because
yeah,
I get
yeah, yeah,
bored,
yes. Yeah, exactly.
So I keep it pretty simple so that I can do that.
Yes.
But, yeah. it's
Well,
fun.
so you guys both talked about what your style is, how you're inspired, and even what you see happening in the market now. So what do you see as your forecast for what will come in terms of interior design and, whether it's product design, lighting, case goods, artwork? What do you see coming down the pike?
I see scale changing.
Yeah.
For years we had oversized furniture, and people were building larger homes.
Like mansions.
And I see a trend of things scaling back,
Yeah.
and a more thoughtful choice of items, and not as much clutter. Everything is a little more simple but more beautiful, and that's why I like Mark's work so much, is because he thinks about every detail. We see these little lucite tables in the marketplace. Well, he's done one of solid crystal.
Yes, it's
And
fabulous.
it is breathtaking.
Yes.
But it's the sleekest, most simple table, but that table could be used in a bedroom by a chair, it could be in a living room.
Very
It could
Urban
go,
loft.
it could go in a very upscale loft
Yeah.
in New York, or it could be in a beach house.
That's
It could
right.
be anywhere.
That's right.
And
Chameleon.
those pieces I think are really important. So I'm seeing a trend in duality, in function for items.
Yes.
So that they can move around the house. And I always tell clients when we're buying something, look at the piece and see if in your mind you could use that piece in 3 rooms in your house. And if you can, that's a good buy. Because if it's in your living room and you get tired of looking at it, you can always transition it to a bedroom, or
Yes,
like a
yes.
sun porch or somewhere. And so that's kind of my little secret rule of thumb I use with clients.
That's good, and it helps build the value so they're willing to
does.
invest in a really great piece because they know that it has longevity. So that's
Yes,
really smart.
and really buy the best you can buy first.
Yes.
And you only cry once. I think Miles Red said that.
Yes, it's
and
a great
I
quote.
subscribe to that.
That's right.
Buy the alabaster chandelier.
Yes.
From
yes.
Mar.
From Mar.
It's
Well,
great.
and that could be a good example too, because I think it also could be transitional, where it could be used
Oh,
in
it
multiple
could.
locations. And then coming from, product design perspective, I do believe that the most successful pieces are exactly what you said.
They are.
And then I get more excited about some of those pieces which have more of a transitional function. And multiple uses, whether you take that piece and put it in a contemporary environment, or it
Exactly.
could go into a beach house.
That's
Yes.
right.
And I love that it could actually reach that far, and,
That's
and
true.
it could be a little bit more tricky to try to achieve that, because it can't be too this and
Right.
it can't be too that, right? It's like
gotta push
you have
the
to be a
edge
really
of the
good
envelope.
cook. You have to do a good cook,
Yeah.
right? Where
Yes.
you not too much salt, not
Goldilocks.
right? To get that right mix, and then it's definitely more difficult to design products in that target zone.
Yep.
Because I kind of think of a target zone as far as like a bullseye, and if I get in the proximity, never hit the bullseye, but try to keep within a certain range. I feel good about those products. I feel the best about those products.
You do really well at that, and I predict that people will start, if they haven't already, collecting your pieces as such, because just like the chandelier that looks like branches
Yes.
with the ice,
The
what are
glass
they?
crystals.
Yeah, the glass crystals that look like ice. That is straight out of nature, but it's a work of art, and I think people will want to collect that the same way they would a piece of sculpture from a museum or an art gallery.
Right. That's great.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank
Well, I'm a
y'all
big
so
fan.
much. I love that you guys have just this connection and that you have such great conversations
do.
and that I'm able to be a part of just listening to them. And now we have video so people can listen as well. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come and talk. And I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you, Ariane.
Thank you.
Thank you.